Hello everyone, this is Fridays with Kevin. Today we'll be discussing the part 1 of the well-known book 1984. As you might already know, 1984 is a famous novel based on the militaristic society of the World War II. I've been reading that book for the past 2 weeks, and just as its prestige suggests, 1984 is a fabulous book. For those of you who haven't read this book, I'll tell you the brief summary of the first part of this book, which is divided into 3 parts. This book starts off in a militaristic country called Oceania. This country is dominated by one party that favors totalitarian dictatorship and is also run by someone secret named Big Brother or O'Brien. This country's slogan is "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength," brainwashing its citizens every day, trying to keep them from overthrowing. This country has been doctoring all the historical information in favor of themselves and trying to keep their citizens' morale high at all times by deceiving them. The protagonist of the book is Winston Smith, and is a government employee who works in the Ministry of Truth, which is devoted to changing historical facts. However, he's also a thought criminal or someone against government's ideology and with the intention of overthrowing the government. A few people like him appear in the book. However, some of them get caught, as every civilians are constantly under watch of junior spies who are kids trying to watch their children their parents' actions, and also under watch of thought police. Winston feels pain living in this horrific world and tries to secretly disobey the law by becoming a thought criminal by writing his internal rebellious thoughts on his diary and leaving some historical artifacts. Of course, Winston is suspected by some people throughout the novel while he's taking such suspicious action. For example, when he visits Mrs. Parsons' house after she requests help from him, Winston is suspected of being a thought criminal by Mrs. Parsons' children, who are dedicated junior spies. In addition, there's a girl he likes in this book. However, sexual desire must be repressed and held back in this nation, as sexual intercourse should exist for the sole purpose of increasing the amount of army and not for any pleasure or any other, or just for the sole purpose of increasing, for any pleasure or for protection of oneself. Therefore, Winston suffers from this painful depriver of pleasure as well, owing to raise his anger at the nation and willingness to overthrow. This adventures of Winston continues on in this novel. Now that you get the gist of this story, I'll be telling some stuff about this book, primarily based on the dialogues. First, the reference to Big Brother as my savior by a little woman on page 16 clearly suggests that this nation's citizens have been brainwashed and been injected into their minds with the notion of accepting Big Brother as their master. Also, the fact that they shake and stutter when they talk, saying "beep beep, beep beep," suggests that they are also living in terror as well, while accepting Big Brother as their lord. Citizens reference to each other as comrade. For example, when Mrs. Parsons calls Winston comrade instead of calling him by his name, additionally supports that the citizens in this nation are living in a militaristic society. When Mrs. Parsons' children, who are junior spies, accuse Winston of being a thought criminal, saying, "Oh, with your hands, you're a traitor, you're a thought criminal, you're a Eurasian spy, I'll shoot you." This looks like there are tons of distrust among neighbors. Also, especially given that Mrs. Parsons looks worried and nervous, this is an evident distrust between parents and children as well. The recurring slogan of war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. emphasizes its militaristic society that keeps brainwashing the citizens. Also, because they keep being yelled at by another head figure, this nation suggests that there is a class hierarchy. For example, someone said Smith 6079 Smith W. Yes, you in page 36. The fact that Winston keeps getting scared whenever he hears someone else's voice suggests that he's living in fear and with guilt of being a thought criminal. For example, he fretted when his friends talked to him from behind in page 48. The ongoing talk between Winston and Syme suggests how brutal the society was. For example, Symes asked Winston in page 49, "Did you go and see how brutal the society?" Asked Winston in page 49, "Did you go and see prisoners hanged yesterday?" As if it were some kind of a interest. Syme later said it was a good hanging as well, suggesting that he literally and actually enjoyed the death of some people. This shows how brutal a society they're living in. Syme talked about his job later, saying that he's responsible for doctoring and changing the definition of the National Dictionary, saying in page 50, "I am on the adjectives. We're getting the language into its final shape. When we're finished with it, people like you will have to learn all over again." Him saying that people will have to learn all over again suggests that dictionary is another way of brainwashing people. Also, the way Syme treats pros, which is a type of class in the society of Oceania, is very disrespectful, because he said in page 52, pros are not human beings, as if pros are just some kind of an object. People are also living in constant surveillance of thought police. For example, as in page 83, the patrols stop you if you happen to run into them, saying, "May I see your papers, comrade? What are you doing here? What time did you leave your work? Is this your usual way home?" And so on and so forth. Also, there was a moment where Winston talked to an old guy who is who should know some stuff that happened before World War, some kind of war that happened. Well, okay, never mind. Overall, this is a spooky society they are living in. I wouldn't want to live in this, but note that this book is based on the World War II, and this is what World War was like. I really pity those who lived during the period of World War II. So, thanks for listening. Bye.